And hello everyone, Paul Trani here, and Frank's here as well, and so is Michelle, and so is Susan, Murray, Sean, awesome, good to see you guys. My name is Paul Trani, and Principal Worldwide Evangelist for Adobe, and I want to show off my new shirt also, which is great for meetings, so that's kind of fun. Yeah, let's kind of dive into this. This is what's new for designers. Everything that we released at Max for designers. Of course, this is a Photoshop masterclass, so that's what I'm going to focus on, but I'm not going to withhold information of other programs. So, yeah. Awesome. Marsha, feel free to say hello. Let's dive into this. We're going to have some fun. What a week. All right, let's dive into this. Hamza, good to see you here. Awesome. It would actually be funny if I was actually on mute and you could not hear me, but hopefully you can. I'm sure you can, folks. Let's dive right into this fun work that we have going on, shall we, my friends? Ba-ba. Here we are, Photoshop. A number of things happening here, right? I know Terry obviously showed some things as well, of course, for his photography masterclass. Mine are going to be a little bit more design related. In fact, let me just open up a couple files, if you don't mind. That's one I'm going to show. And then we have a couple others that I want to get into, if you don't mind. All right. I think I have some cooler ones to show. Yeah, let's open up this one. All right, here we are. Yeah, let's focus on designer type stuff. I posted this a while ago. This is actually kind of along the lines of, promoting Adobe Max, but I'm going to show off just a couple features right in here. Probably the biggest one is coming in here, and I'm going to go to Edit Toolbar. I'm going to restore defaults for one. All right. Just keep that in mind. In case you don't see anything, go into your Customize toolbar right down here at the bottom. Okay, so when I start talking about some tools, you'll know where they come from. Go right here. Just click right here, and then you'll just kind of restore defaults is what I would typically do. Click Done. So you know how to get to some of these. Okay. Jamie, Max was great. All right. Reverb Mike's in the house. Good to see you here, buddy. All right. Let's kind of take a stab at this. A couple of things I want to do is I want to go into the kind of talk about shapes, because I think this is like a huge improvement, because as I go in here and just kind of show it to you, I know my head's in the way, but all these tools work a little bit differently. So we can go in, we can go to the polygon tool, for instance, right? And I might want to add a polygon, say, off to the side, right over here, right? I can click, I can drag, of course, holding the Shift key, right? Dragging out from the center. Option and Shift. I'll just kind of go ahead and create this fun little element that I want to integrate into this design. I actually want to pick up the ellipse coolness, because I have these different drop shadows and things, so I'm just going to kind of make it look a little bit cooler. Let's take out the fill, do something kind of like that. I would actually add an inner glow, by the way. Hey, we're all designers, and I know this would bother you if I did not do this, so hopefully it's okay that I go in and add like an inner, inner glow. Oh, there it is. Inner glow. Bah, like that. Right, adding that inner glow. Just kind of trying to balance this out, if you don't mind. Okay, so overlay. Let's go back. That's let's see. Let's take a look. Outer glow, soft light. Inner glow, soft light. Same color, right? Sorry about this, everybody. I'm just getting this squared away. Let's go ahead and make the size a little larger. Just try to make this nice little line. Okay, we'll also add a line right in here. There it is. Stroke, adding a stroke. Sampling that color as well. Right, you guys get the idea of what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go on from that, because all I did is create this simple shape. But right over here, this is what I want to show you in the Properties panel. As we see for this shape, right, we can see the thickness of the, if it had a line associated with it, we can change the thickness of that line. But right over here, we could also change the number of sides. So we can give this as many sides or as few sides as we want. We can take now this polygon, I think is what it was called originally, down to a triangle. So it almost makes the triangle tool like obsolete. Like these do the same thing, they're just set up different ways. Okay. But is that the banana is so pre-max? So yeah, it's good to have you guys. Okay, how did you copy the FX panel to the new shape you just added? You just do a drag and drop. Hold down the Option key. You drag and drop it. Okay, so let's actually turn on this Creative Cloud logo. There it is. So it has settings as well. These are the actual settings I needed, so I can literally Option, drag, drop, that. Now these two match up. This one matches with this one, okay? So that looks a little bit better. It's okay. Let's continue on our way. But what's nice about this is I can always go back in, selecting even that circle. Here's my polygon that I was working with, right? We can see these different options for it, right? It's currently set to 100%. Let's actually zoom in on this a little better so you guys can see it. Sorry for all that craziness, right? As we take it down to even kind of rounding the corners as well, right? So now we have this option for, you know, something potentially that I can work with. I would actually, what you would typically do is you would actually make this stuff in Illustrator. It's like you don't need Illustrator for making simple shapes anymore, which is nice, right? You can see what I've done here is I've actually taken the, gosh, I can't think of the names of it, the outer points and the inner points, right? I've rounded them. And this is the star ratio, I guess, right? So that's what makes it sort of more of a true octagon, but I can actually turn this into a star, as you saw as well. So we go, let's take this down to 30, right? We can see we've kind of turned this into a star as well. There we go, cool. You guys got it? No sharp edges, huh? I kind of like the star. I want to do, yeah. Let's do something kind of like that, maybe 8, I don't know. Kind of playing with this now. Maybe 5 is the way to go. And let's make this even more shallow, so that means taking up that number like so. So now we have a star, okay? And always go right here and smooth the star indents, right? So what that's gonna do is it's gonna go ahead and like obviously like bevel it, or like as if there's a Bezier curves in there, which there are, by the way. And I'm actually pointing this out because you know what? Sorry, I love Illustrator, but Illustrator doesn't even have this feature for smoothing the indents. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's move on. We have our fun shape there, right? I can add another one off to the side, right? Again, this could be an ellipse. Shoop. There's my ellipse. Let's take these same effects, slap it on the ellipse, take the fill down to 0, just like that. Let's do something fun with the kind of this circle. In fact, let's take this back a little bit, because what I want to do for this circle is I'm going to give it a stroke. So we're going to give it a stroke of sort of an off-white, no fill. Okay, so that's what we have there. If we take a look at it now, let's zoom in. Zoop. Just so you can see, here's the stroke. And you have different stroke profiles in here as well. So it's currently set to 3. We have these miters as well, right? So we can have inside, outside. You guys get the idea, right? We can come in here and we can go ahead and make that a dashed line, like so, okay? Gives it a dashed line. Let's crank this up. Let's try this. Let's take this up to 300. Oh, hello. 288 is the highest we could go, which is awfully thick, right? Let's go 200, 200. Let's take this down, 100. Okay, I'm just trying a couple things. There it is. Okay, so anyways, I'm just playing with this dashed line, kind of coming up with some different shapes, which I would normally do in Illustrator as well. So we can see, I can come in, change this, and it's because this dash, maybe we'll just do, let's do 100. And let's get rid of these. There we go, because you only need the first 2 numbers when you're creating these dashed lines. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm working with. Now let's just kind of slowly take this up. Okay, I'm just playing with this stroke size. So anyways, you guys get the idea. I'm just kind of showing you the different options that you have now for all of these vector shapes that you can actually create in good old Photoshop now. So again, it's pretty darn powerful. About as powerful as Illustrator. I'm going to draw out one more shape right here. Disregard that it has an arrow associated with it. Turn that off. You did not see that. That's a surprise. There we go. Here's our line. Let's take up the size of this line like so. Okay. Here's our fun line. And just to point out that this is actually a true line, like finally, because what was this before? Namiko or Mia, do you guys know, or Sean? Right, what this was before this latest version of Photoshop, it was actually a rectangle. So anytime you drew out a line with the line tool, it was actually a rectangle that looked like this, zip, which was just not that flexible at all. So again, so you have the before, which was this, a rectangle, and now you have the after, or the new line, as you can see, that you can actually control, say, the thickness of it, the dashed, make it dotted, all that fun stuff. You guys get the idea. Cool. All right, let's move on. Jurgen, good to see ya here. All right. Thanks for joining me on this fine Friday. Hopefully it finds you well. I got a weird spacing in there, not to worry. It's okay. But let's take this a step further, actually. And what I want to do, also just kind of point this out as well, because you might not be aware of this. You saw this, maybe me turn it off a second ago, but right up here, for this line, or any line that I create, sorry, let me go ahead and actually select the line tool. Right up here at the top, we can go ahead and give it arrowheads. This has been in Photoshop for a long time, but I don't know a lot of people that, like, it actually is finally more useful now that it's actually an actual vector line and not a box. But now we can go ahead and establish the end. That seems pretty big. Geez, what are you doing, Paul? This is crazy in size. Let's do 20, 20, and draw that out. Sure enough, we have our fun line as you'd expect it to come across, and we can go ahead and adjust it. You get the idea. All right, everyone. Bam! Make it glow. Put it over here. Make it look cool. That's the goal. There you go. There's your line. Yeah, you could do text on a path, so you could do text on that line. So yeah. All right. Just checking up. Seems very pixelated. It's probably because I was zoomed in a lot. That's all. So it is kind of adhering to my current resolution. So that's why it's a little pixelated. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening. All right, we have our weird shapes now. This is weird. This stuff is looking kind of interesting, right? I want to get rid of that line. I've shown this before as well. Let me just kind of draw out this line that I have, and let's change it like so. Drop this onto this new arrow that I just made. Okay. Let's get rid of this stroke, right? Because I added this stroke. This stroke I shouldn't actually add this way, right? Don't really need that stroke because this stroke right here, again, isn't needed because I have added it right up here. Okay, cool. I wanted to kind of show this. I've shown this before. If you do Command, let's just make sure I have that. Command Option T. Let's rotate this a little bit. Let's move it over. Okay, I did Command Option T, and that will duplicate the object and allow me to transform it. That's Command Option T. The reason I held down Option key is because now it kind of stores that move in memory. So now I could do a Shift Command Option T if the gods are with me, and they are, right? It's actually duplicating that with that transform done. And again, that's just a bonus tip for you. I didn't rotate it perfectly, but normally I would actually make that a little bit more exact. But again, always hold down, you could do Command Option T, and it stores that transform kind of in memory, and to access it, you just use that Shift key. So it's basically a step and repeat in Photoshop. All right, let's undo that. I've shown that before. All right. Oh yeah, I guess my lighting does match my photo. I don't know why it turned out so. I'm very golden today for some reason, but that's okay. Okay, we have our weird shapes. Let me actually just jump ahead to the final version and see what we got in here. This one actually looks a little better. It's a little bit more interesting, right? That's kind of how it ended up, and I think it's kind of cool. All right, cool. All right, so just keep in mind the shapes are actual shapes that can be manipulated at any point in time later on. Kind of lends I want to kind of roll into this next feature, and let's take this dove, for instance. Here's our lovely dove. Right, there it is, and let's actually turn off this other, or get rid of that other file. Let's make this a smart object, right? So we're going to convert that folder to a smart object, right? There's my dove. Let's go into my panel options. Since I just installed Photoshop, I got to kind of update this a little bit. Oh, it is layer bounds. Okay, good. That's set up. That's set up. Okay, cool. All right, we're good. What's nice about this is I'm going to open up my properties panel. Properties panel is actually going to remember sort of the size and even the rotation. So if I decide to go in here for the, let's find my dove, pull out this properties. If I decide to, why is this so large? Let's take a look, folks. Ungroup layers. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and merge these layers. Trim. There we go. Just kind of rolled it back a little bit. And let's bring up this lovely dove. Now, Command T, let me rotate it. Right, hit Enter. Right, we could see, again, just the rotation. So I could always reset it back to the way it was, because I actually liked it the other way. So we could take it back down to 0, back to its original rotation, and there everything's back to normal. All right. Mia just updated everything. Are all the cool new features in this update? Yes. One thing you will have to do, and let me just jump to a different photo, is so neural filters, and I know Terry showed this, I'm sure most people are. Neural filters, let's go in there, because the things that you might need to download are the neural filters. So these are individual downloads right in here. So it'll have a little download button that you just have to click. I already downloaded everything, so you download Photoshop and then download all the neural filters. Once you have that done, you can start to play with this stuff, like turn on Smart Portrait and start playing with the facial age, because again, that's a popular thing to do. We can see what that looks like, all that fun stuff. All right. What's happening now is it's actually processing it in the cloud. It's actually uploading this image. It's comparing my face to a bunch of other faces, that are actually older as well, since I dragged this to say 30 years in the future, then it returns this result. Okay, so that's what's happening, is that processing is all done using AI and yeah, a lot of Adobe Sensei. So that's kind of what's happening. There are, I don't know if anybody is on a PC, but I know NVIDIA has created some graphics cards that work very fast when it comes to AI and machine learning and all that fun stuff. So I actually have tested it out on another PC, and it's amazing how fast it can go. But there I am as an old guy, right? Not that I'm young to begin with. Neural filters, so you can look insane, right? Okay, there you go. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. You can see right down here, it looks like I have like a neck piercing of sorts, right? And what you can do here is we can output that to a smart filter, or we can duplicate the layer masked as well. So that's down at the bottom. So you can kind of play with this and blend it in with the original. Okay, so that's typically what I would do. Let's go ahead and adjust the head direction really fast. And we'll do the eyes as well. So I don't know what it's doing with like giving me a mustache. But the gaze, so we're going to gaze back at the camera. So that's why we're going to drag that to the right. And now there we are. Let's make myself a little happier. And you can see how ridiculous this is, right? There we are. We'll click OK. There I am. Here's that new layer with a layer mask. And again, before and then way in the future, apparently I'm going to have a mustache. Yeah, Grandpa Paul. So right in here, I'd go ahead and kind of get rid of that part right there, maybe. If anything's weird, you can always take care of that, because that's obviously a mask. Okay? This is weird, folks. This is weird. Life is weird, people. So bizarre. Let's grab some other images. So give me a second. Let's just have some fun with this image here. Pretty straightforward. It's actually a great image, right? But hey, you know, if you go to Sedona, it's all about crystals and weird stuff, okay? Being more centered with the earth, right? So it's like we want to make this maybe a little bit more like trippy. So neural filters, so we'll go into, in fact, I'm going to actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate the layer, turn it into a smart object. Hey, why not? Protect those pixels. Now we'll go into neural filters. We'll do a style transfer, right? And then you can see what we get right in here. Obviously, Sedona is amazing. I don't mean to like pick on it, but I like Sedona. I think it's awesome. I love it there. I got myself some crystals. I have some quartz. I really like this tattoo one right over here. This tattoo one actually I think is pretty cool. Okay, selecting it. We'll give it a second. And it does all these crazy cool lines. I just really like this. Like this makes it look a little bit more painterly. So we could do that. We could apply this smart filter, as you can see. We'll click OK. Take a drink of my coffee. Yeah, Slide Rock. I did not go to Slide Rock. Slide Rock is where you can go swimming, right? Yeah. I've went to the Grand Canyon actually this summer. Okay, so and got to experience that stuff. But what I do from there is like it kind of does create this sort of really cool painterly look that follows. It's like it's intelligent. It just doesn't blanket like apply you know, some sort of texture to it or some painterly thing. Like it's aware of the structure of this, so it kind of wraps around these different shapes. So that's pretty cool. And I would also actually go in, I'd go to filter, I would go down to, give me a second to check it out. Go to stylize. I would actually throw like something else on top of this, like oil paint, for instance, right? And now we've applied two effects, one on top of the next, and this is what I'm talking about. Oh, don't you like that? Isn't that nice? So if we take a peek, we'll twirl that down, and We can see right over here, oh, oil, paint, and neural filters. I'll turn off the neural filter. Looks like that, right? Turn it back on, give it a second. I don't know, I just think it's really cool. Murray's putting me to work. Can you show how to colorize a black and white photo, then change the color via new layer brush? Yeah, I can. If you give me a second. I don't... The trick is finding a black and white image, to be honest with you. And that's going to be the hard part. So, apologize. Apologies, everybody. Okay, so let me just try. I do have a black and white photo in here somewhere. If you give me a second, it's just a matter of finding it. Wait for it, folks. Oh, let's take a look. All right. Ignore some of this, but I've already recorded a couple of videos out there. I do this thing, FOMO, like fear of missing out. So I have a bunch of FOMO videos on this sort of thing, right? And you can see kind of what I've already done in here with those neural filters, how that looks. Ah, found it. So this is where we can take, oh, here's a black and white version. I see you. Move it to the top. There it is. Let's take this one right here. You ready for this? Turn it into a smart object so we can compare it to the original. We'll go into neural filters because it's going to recognize the sky, clouds. Landscapes is where it shines, right? And I've actually done it on, I really wish I could show you. I took an old photo of like my grandma when she was a little like a 2-year-old, and I colorized it. So you could do this with old photos, and I should show you that because I'm like, it did such a good job. But for some reason now, just like neural filters doesn't want to pop up for me, huh? Alrighty, that happens. Okay, let's try this one more time. Neural filters. Be my friend. Maybe not. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to show that. But I'll just save this. I don't know if it's this file's issue, but I'll just drag it in here and we'll just save that for later, just so you know. All right, so let's move on. I got more things to show. If you're curious about all of the features, you could do a simple search, by the way. Anytime you have a URL that says helpx, that's like a good thing because that's actually where you could probably get the most information. I've already talked about neural filters. There's sky replacement. Again, really straightforward. We could do that probably with this photo, right? Because again, this is a case where this photo, after it's colorized, let's move it to the top. Delete the layer mask, right? Sky is super boring in this one, right? So can we do better, right? Let's go right over here. We'll go down to Edit, Sky Replacement, bam, right? Give it a second. It'll pick one, kind of magically applies this sky, but you have a number of them in here, as you can see, right? So I'll do something a little bit more dramatic. You guys get the idea. It's all very straightforward, right? Spectacular looks a lot better. Sean, do you like how I did that? Just moving on, people. So here we are. Like I kind of like this one actually. But the key thing is in here, by the way, you can kind of move this around, right? So you could adjust its position, as you can see, and you can obviously zoom in on areas and that whole thing. You can extend or reduce the sky area too. So as I paint along these edges, let's scale it up. it should be adding more to the sky or there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I was just applying more of the sky in the background there, as you can see. All right, cool. You can output that to a new layer with the layer mask as well, and there you have it. All right. Yeah, hopefully you don't have to post up at any one location for if you want to swap out a sky. Again, super easy to do. I will say, just be mindful of like reflections. Because if this was like, if there were buildings here or like water, that's going to reflect the sky as well. So you do need to kind of manually go in and take care of some of that stuff. Hello out there over on YouTube. So join us on behance.net/Adobe Live. Is this the same as chroma key technology? It's a lot of machine learning. So yes, is there keying going on? You could say there is, right? Because it's actually knocking out, it's finding the sky. It has to key out that sky, right? It has to know what clouds were there and to remove those clouds. So it gets like a lot more advanced than it seems, if you ask me. So yeah. All right. Checking the time, excuse me. Again, I want to focus on the designer type things, so that's why I'm going to jump over to another image. Try to make this like follow, you know, something that you'd have to do as a designer. So we have, again, this person. Maybe I want to sort of create a pattern for her dress. So that's what I'll do next. Let's just do a quick pattern preview. I'll go File, New. Oftentimes, honestly, I'll just do something that's square. But it doesn't have to be square, right? It's just going to make more sense in my brain. Click OK. There we are. Let's go back out. Let's go to Nature. My Nature folder. There it is. And from here, we can just go ahead and make some quick patterns. This is what I would do, is just kind of drag out a couple lovely floral accents. Oh yeah, I got a lot of these, right? But this is what I'm gonna convert into a pattern. Oh, here we go. This is what I want. Some of this stuff, some of this stuff. It wouldn't be a Paul stream if there weren't flowers involved, so that's kind of why I'm doing it, all right? Having some fun. This is like all the elements that I'd start to put together to make a cool like flower pattern, all right? All right, folks. Astromeria, oh yeah. Cool. Shrink that down. Of course, this all needs a little bit of help, but what I'll do from this point is, yeah, I want to make this a pattern, right? Because I have all of these elements, and I'll even make them a little bit larger, like that. Go into View. Right down here, we have Pattern Preview. So it's going to take all of that and preview this. It says it works best with smart objects. Transforming pixel layers may show unexpected results. They are smart objects because I pulled them from the library. So I can just click OK from there. And now we can see our lovely pattern that gets created. So I can come in here, take this. Not quite everything, but let's grab this butterfly and say, hey, you know what, let's break that border right there, right? And now I can have some fun with these different elements, moving them around and doing a puppet warp. Command H will hide it if that helps. Let's do puppet warp. It's having a tough time with the puppet warp. That is okay. I'm pushing it to its limits. But you can see what the pattern preview does, obviously, as I create this. From there, I can select everything. and define pattern is what I'm doing. So there's my new pattern that I just made, right? Puts it in my pattern library. So let's go down there. Patterns, there we are. Scroll down at the bottom, and there it is, along with a number of other ones. So now I can go to her, select her magically. Let's do this quickly. I'm sure most people will select her dress via color range, and that's what I was just about to do. So yeah, so pattern preview is so good. You know, I'm kind of surprised it took us a little while because it's been available in Illustrator for a little bit. I do want to kind of talk about some of the Illustrator features as well, since I'm talking to designers, if you don't mind. Okay. But again, we created that pattern. We can go into the patterns. There it is. And grab our lady and apply it. You guys know how that works. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on, folks. I actually want to kind of shift gears. I want to jump onto the iPad, if you don't mind. And there's more features I'm sure I need to cover, just so you know. A lot of all of us evangelists created in-app content, by the way. There's this new Discover tab, right? And this is the best way to learn. Go in here, go down to hands-on tutorials, right? How to fix an old photo, right? And this will actually walk you through it with the actual photo, right? Where you can go in and it'll tell you, hey, go up here, go to select subject, right? Select subject, right? And it kind of walks you through all those steps. So we spent a lot of time on this, and I hope you guys like it. We're going to be building out some more, but it's what we call our like Discover panel that'll walk you through all those steps. And let's move on. Okay, you guys are pros though. Yes, flowers are gorgeous. So they always end up in all my designs. Oh, enhanced cloud documents as well, right? Because I was working on this one. Let's just go ahead and save this file. Actually, no, let's go beyond that. I want to start out on my iPad, and then I'm going to go to my desktop. So let's switch over, because cloud documents are awesome. We have versioning, all that fun stuff. We can see a number of files in here. Let's just go ahead and open up this Fox one really fast. All right. Man, oh man. This week has been like hard on my systems. Internet. Oh, my internet bill. No. There we go. Okay, so this is a Photoshop cloud document right in here, of course. And go ahead, work away like so. I love this, by the way. So I'll go right over here and I'll just kind of select this butterfly. And what I can do is I can constrain its movement using this little control point, right? It's kind of like the shortcut keys, like the Option, Command, and Control and Shift on your keyboard. But I can kind of drag this out, and now I can duplicate this butterfly. Bam, 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 bam. There's like multiple butterflies and multiple layers that it made, right? So again, I just like that little control key. Keep that in mind as you start working away. Just like I did on the desktop a second ago, I did select subject right in here. We could do the same thing. So with that layer for this fox, by the way, because I want to put some text behind the fox, but in front of the background. Right here, long press, there it is, select subject. Oh, thank you. All right. Selects our lovely fox right there. We can go into refine edge. So hopefully you could see that at the bottom. In fact, I really kind of want to like size this up without screwing up too much. We'll try to size this up for you. All right, zip, there we are. Refine edge, there it is. Change this to on black. Right now we can go ahead and see that refine edge brush. Go and grab those other pixels, right? Maybe remove them from the inside there. The inside really, like kind of between the legs, that's what I'm doing, just kind of grabbing some there. But ultimately I'm going to put text on the top, so that's why I'm just kind of rolling over the hair, starting outward and then dragging in, because you're like telling Photoshop, this is the background, and then remove, you know, from where you drag it to. So that's all I'm doing. You got refine edge. We've needed that, and now we have it. We can click done. Let's go ahead and mask that out. There we are. Let's turn that off. Right, we can see that situation. I'm gonna do, oh look, wildlife. Oh yeah, here's my text, right? So, do you guys know about this, by the way? I know there's some questions in there. I think you guys are just chatting away. All right, cool. So here's some text, as you can see, and we have a number of text options right in here that we can work with, right? So I can come in, you know, and adjust this individual letter if I wanted to, say, do a baseline shift, right? You can see how that works. But what do you do if you actually want to get more fonts? Like, how do you get more fonts on your iPad? Well, you do that by going to your Creative Cloud app, okay? So your Creative Cloud iPad app will allow you to install fonts, which is awesome. So we'll give it a second. Oh man, struggling. Everything's on the struggle bus today. I'm maxing out all the systems. I've been maxing everything out for like a month. So, and now it's not loading. But you use the Creative Cloud mobile iPad app, and you can go ahead and sync fonts that way using your Creative Cloud app. So that's ultimately what I do in this case for this project, FYI, right? And again, apologies that was not opening for me. Let's take a look. I probably just need to kill it and go back in. One last time. Come on, baby. Do your thing. It's like, not today, Paul. Not today. You've been abusing me too much. You need to be nicer to me. That's what it's saying. All right. But like I said before, there's my text. We'll drag that behind it, right? And again, maybe I actually might duplicate this butterfly just a couple times. Let's select this one. There we go. Right, that's done. That's my file right there. So when you're working between your flicked at this point, so I'm going to just rename it the new Fox, saving that file, and that will get synced. This is a cloud document. It's going to be in the browser and all that fun stuff. So you just go to Assets. Let's move that over. Assets.adobe.com in your cloud documents. Switching over now. Good times. Make sure you're logged into the same account, by the way, which is why I'm going to switch back to my iPad. You guys don't need to know my password. It's not that interesting anyway. All right, and we're back. Here we are in the browser, the new Fox. Click on that. We can comment on that, all that fun stuff, right? We're going to see it right in here, right? We can add those comments. And right over here, we see the information when it's made, and then we have a lovely timeline, right? So this is the last version. So we can actually go back to previous versions in the browser if we want to, but we could also take a look at this in Photoshop. So File, Open, Cloud Documents. We can see it right there. Let's access it. There we are. And then I would go to the version history. Now there's history in Photoshop, and there's also version history. Selecting version history. And there it is. Just like how we had in the browser, if I move that over, right? We have it right in here. We're storing previous versions that will expire after 30 days, right? After 30 days, they're gonna these will start dropping off. But you can see I've done this a number of times. This one I like a lot. I can bookmark it, right? And call this something else. Let's bookmark it. Fave version, just like that. There we are. Right, that one now gets saved. So this one won't expire after 30 days, right? But we can go back to previous versions. And you see it right up here, by the way. So let's go back to one that I did, geez, this is like a month ago. It's not much different, to be honest with you. Like, here's my latest version with the text in it, right? So again, versioning baked into your cloud documents, which is awesome. No need to call this the new Fox final. I mean it this time. .psd or whatever. This only works for the ones that are in the cloud and not on your desktop. Cool. Is it Paul123? Is that your password? Maybe so. That is funny. Another thing I did not show that I would actually probably be using as a designer, I would use two things. I'd be using Fresco on the iPhone. So as a designer or Illustrator, that's what I would use. Fresco on the iPhone, which is awesome. Makes me think about like Photoshop, you know, on the iPhone would be awesome as well. But we also have Illustrator. So let's kind of launch that really fast because we have Illustrator on the iPad as well. Right, so here's my file, by the way. Switching over, this is Illustrator on the iPad. We can see a number of these assets, right, that we can work with. Let's get rid of that. Let's play with this text, right? And the text control is probably the thing that I like the most. Because say, for instance, I'm doing this ad, explore and conserve, right, in here. Clicking right down here, right down there at the very bottom. Let me move this up because you probably can't see it. But you have more fonts available. Shoop. More fonts. Now we can go with a playful, like, calligraphic look, for instance, for this, right? So you can see me kind of click around, find something that's maybe just a little bit more interesting than what I had before. So I kind of like this. Ooh, that one's nice. Let's go with Youngblood. Why not? Let's get fancy. There's our text. Youngblood. Scale that up. And I could start, you know, drawing and creating. How was this created? I really should just delete that altogether. Let's use the pencil. Let's make sure the smooth is cranked almost all the way up. You could turn on a grid view, by the way. Click right here. Grid. We could have it snap to grid, so maybe that's what I would do is go, I don't know. Let's undo that. Let's go like that. It's fine if it's not perfect. Right in here, these repeat options. So let's scale this all back down because now you cannot see my screen. Oh, all right. Okay, so all right, and we're back. Interesting. All right, so we are back, guys. Sorry about that. Jason is coming up next, and he was just jumping in with a little commercial to say, hey, you know what? He's got some cool things to show you. So that's what it was his little promotional. I'm going to go right in here. I'm going to go to grid, okay? So people underestimate the grid, but I love it. Like, let's go in here and let's turn that one wave into an ocean, right? So now we can come in and access all those individual points. Boop. There it is, right? And we can sort of like link that up. That's what I would do. I'd do something kind of like this. Bear with me. I could actually close that gap altogether, right? So let's go back out and grab this top control point and move that in. Boop. And connect it like that. I know it's not perfect, but again, that's what this is for. Jumping in, double clicking, and then just like adjusting like so. Boop, boop. Like that. Got it. Got it. Get in there. Jason's going to be up in about... Oh, I still have time. This is awesome. Let's tighten that up like so. I'll do that for the waves right down here. Bam. Also, right over here, so I'm going to go to the properties for this repeat grid and expand this out first, as you can see. But we could also, down at the bottom, you can offset it. So that's what I would do at this. Oops. Oh, that's what I do at this point. Come in here, offset it like so, right? And you can see it just looks a little bit more natural that way, right? Jan, I am back. That's just the next segment coming up. There we have it, right? We could play with this all we want. Actually, what I have right in here, probably hardly even see it. Here's just a fish I drew. There's our lovely fish. Oh yeah, radial. Ooh, you guys get the idea, right? I can have this fish jumping out of the water. We're gonna go ahead and make this fish kind of just like the top, like have just a couple jumping out, kind of like that is what I'm doing. Right, so I just kind of want to create a nice layout like so. Okay, cool. That's all I really want to do. Hopefully you guys like that. I could tweak this all day long, and I will, right? But I don't have to finish it here, right? Because this is also a cloud document. Sync that, right? All I really need to do is just close it, and it will be available on my desktop. Okay, cool. All right, so that's all. Just showing you things that you should know about. Hello, Alexander. How you doing? Repeat objects are not yet supported. Just keep that in mind, right? So some of these objects aren't supported on the desktop. That's why I do them on my iPad. You can see them right in here. There they are. Everything comes in perfect. Guess what? It synced that font as well. Same thing happens on the desktop. If I bring this and I use a font that's not on my iPad, it'll automatically sync it behind the scenes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. From there, I can play with this all I want, right? We can see right in here just kind of what it created right in here, and you can see that it's just like a solid object that you could still control. Let's just double click inside of it, but there we have like the waves that I can turn blue, whatever the case may be. Cool. All right. Yeah. That is fun to do, right? You guys get the idea. Okay, let's move on, right? We can talk about recolor artwork and all that other fun stuff. But let's jump back into Photoshop and just make sure I have everything covered that I wanted to. We did pattern preview, live shapes. We already talked about live shapes, which is probably the biggest thing for designers, which is why I started out with that. And then resetting smart objects. Remember how I rotated the bird? We can always rotate it back, as you can see right there, so it all knows about that stuff. You can search through presets, which is nice. Okay. So yeah, I usually don't find things. I don't find the color blue by typing in blue. Content-aware tracing is something that we're working on. It's a technology preview that you'll have to play with, but you do have to turn it on in Preferences, Technology Previews. I didn't show it today. I think it still needs some work for sure. But the whole idea of taking an object, and if this is a flat image, you can actually roll over and snap that pen to the leg of this this fox. So, but that is it for me. Check out me on Behance and other places as well, because I would love to hear from you and see how you guys are doing. At Paul Trani on Twitter and PTRANI on Instagram. But I'm going to turn it over.
Come on.
To Jason, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be so good. I'm going to check it out. So fun day. It's like back from Max recaps all day today. So thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate you. Stay tuned for Jason Levine doing some audio and video magic, the latest, greatest. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.